Technologies reporting a second quarter revenue of $14.7 million this morning. That's above the street's estimates of nearly $10 million for the quarter and up 146% year over year. Services driving most of that growth as the company invests heavily in scaling up its business. Phil LeBeau joins us now with a special guest. Phil.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Let's bring in Kyle Clark, the CEO of Beta Technologies, joining us from the company's headquarters in Burlington, Vermont. Kyle, let's start first off. It was a wider than expected loss for the quarter, but I think the important part here is you guys are ramping up certification. Do you have a better sense now of what that roadmap looks like to certification?
Yeah, great question, Phil. It's good to see you again. We've been working through the hardest elements of certification. Last quarter, I'd reported that there were some policy interpretation issues around the engine certification. Over the last 90 days, we've resolved that with the FAA, and we have a clear path forward with certification, which is, of course, a big, big step for our business. But I think it's important to note that, with the overall loss, the revenue was significantly higher than we had anticipated, and that service revenue and product revenue was organic, where we're getting paid to implement our technologies into other people's programs and, of course, implementing into their own programs, effectively planting the seeds for future revenue. And that's the track we're on right now.
IEPA certification, this IEPA program, which is the DOT essentially trying to condense the time it takes from beginning to end of certification. You've already done one of the IEPA flights with the DOT program. You've got several more that are scheduled here in the months to come. How much is that likely to, at least with your ALIA conventional takeoff aircraft, is that going to condense the time you see going from beginning of certification process to actually having the paper?
Yeah, so really, I don't see it compressing the certification timeline, but it changes the entire landscape and the rules of the game because it allowed us to start those flights. We moved to Hart on the 19th of July. That was the very first flight under the pilot program. We won more pilot programs than anybody else in the industry. And now we move on to our next target, which is revenue generating flights. So the key unlock here with the pilot program is that we get to fly with our customers in the real world while we get paid to do so, starting with medical, like we did with moving the Hart, cargo, logistics, and then we'll go on to passenger. So it used to be that certification was a hard line to enter service. Now we get to enter service before certification. And frankly, I don't think that's fully captured by the market yet. This pilot program is really amazing.
When you look at the market right now, Kyle, I would say within the last 2 weeks, there seems to be momentum building among investors to say, okay, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to think that eVTOLs is not just an idea, that it will come to market and it will be an industry. Do you sense that momentum as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, the market's consolidating. We showed up in Farnborough. I'd say that we won Farnborough. We showed up with 3 airplanes. 2 of them are flying every day. Things are moving with GE. Things are moving in the certification. We've got these political tailwinds that are allowing the DOT and the FAA to move forward. And as you probably remember, Secretary Duffy, he could have gone out and flown anybody's VTOL and CTOL aircraft, saw a hybrid aircraft. He came here and flew 3 sorties with us in our aircraft. This stuff is real. And every day that we fly with customers, their eyes light up. We were over in Scotland. We flew all over Scotland's islands, Highlands with Logan Air. And that resulted in a real order for an aircraft that we can build today and a mission we can fulfill today. And that really makes it real for people. And people are starting to catch up with it. I think you're absolutely right.
Kyle, one last question here. I think a lot of people are focused on the passenger flight aspect of eVTOLs, but that's down the road. More immediately, as you touched on, cargo and medical. Is the demand within medical far greater than people appreciate right now?
So I think it's an interesting stepwise approach that we've taken. Cargo, medical, logistics, reduced variables, singular customers, no complexity of passengers, and the certification burden is right-sized for the risks associated with the missions, especially in EIPP, which is the pilot program. So it allows us to start doing work sooner. My belief is by doing that, we will get to passenger, both CTOL and VTOL, faster than anybody else in the market. And like, this is what Beta does. We have been consistently delivering on our numbers, consistently delivering on our strategy, and we have not diverted into a series of other things. We've stayed focused. And what that's done is it allowed other people to buy our products, put it in their airplanes, fly with our motors, our inverters, do more miles than anybody else in the industry. And like, this is the pragmatic stepwise approach that starts with the market entry strategy of cargo, medical, and logistics, like you said, and that is mirrored throughout the business.
Kyle Clark. Thank you, Kyle, for joining us today from, looks like a sunny Burlington, Vermont. Kyle Clark, CEO of Beta Technologies, joining us this morning. Guys, I will send it back to you.
6:44 in the morning.
Pretty far north.
Does the sun come up faster in the north? Sunny and
Days are longer in the north in the summer.
Have some Ben & Jerry's ice cream while you're up there, baby.
Yeah, it's a nice
Right?
town. It's a fun town.
It's that beer and snow they have. It's hard to find.
Yeah.
Anyway,